Thank you very much, Darren. We are back into the draft for the third game of League of Dawgs versus Oasis Esports. 1-1 here. The drafts are already coming through. The ban's already coming through. Tom Kench, no surprise, banned out by League of Dawgs. Skarner as well taken away. They decided to leave that one up for these two picks up for the second game, and they paid for it. So they're not going to make that mistake again.
They're just saying, forget all that other stuff we banned before. Then our pick ban kind of comes a little bit out of nowhere. But either way, they're like, nah, Tom, we want to be able to hit hooks and it work. We're going to ban Skarner because I think that's your only jungler. And then they ban her. Yasuo still being banned away. Talia still being banned away. Echo still being banned away. So a lot of that targeted again at Gabyzz as well as their mid laner. So yeah, we're back here for game 3. And oh wow, I'm suddenly super excited. I legit, I after game 1, I was like, man, this is gonna be another quick game 2. I'm gonna go have dinner. And then that game happened, and I was like, oh baby, we got a series, and I'm so excited. Cassiopeia being locked in first right now for League of Dawgs. So that priority mid laner there picked right away. They're just gonna blind it.
That's right. That one being left up. They did ban it in the second phase, so it was left up in the previous game as well. But then comes the Olaf for Oasis Esports. Definitely something that Roman has been successful on in the past in this league already. And then Thresh coming in. Thresh is coming in. They're taking away the Thresh from Thresh main. And now the Tom Kench down as well, which we saw as the counter to Thresh last game. So what will they choose in response to this Thresh in this situation?
I mean, you have the opportunity to pick very similar things, basically. Yeah. But never mind, that is not similar. That's Yuumi. So you're not going to be the playmaker this time, Thresh main, but you're just going to put yourself onto your carry and, you know, watch them carry. That is essentially they're going to be their job there. Yuumi, right now, Yuumi is an interesting pick sometimes because you can run so many compositions that's like you pick 3 carries, Yuumi jump on the person who's most fed, and then we'll go from there. So as they pick that Pyke again, and that's exactly kind of the game plan. They're gonna pick Cassiopeia, they're gonna pick Pyke, maybe top again, and then they'll pick an AD carry that might be carrying, and they're like, exactly, Yuumi, pick one person to jump on.
Yeah, you know what I'm expecting to see actually, without any other information. This Cassiopeia definitely is a flex pick. I like it in the bot lane a lot. In fact, I almost like it more than in the mid lane. Definitely works super well with the Yuumi with that move speed and everything. A key thing here is that the Olaf actually has been taken away, or the Olaf has been picked by Oasis Esports. Olaf, a very, very strong jungler in combination with Yuumi, as he is trying to get into the backline there, trying to run as fast as he can, trying to get sustained. But we do see the Rumble coming in to answer here. Rumble, lane bully. So if that Cassiopeia does end up going towards the bot lane, Rumble definitely being able to have the early game advantage in that situation. And Trundle ban coming out. You've seen it twice already in this series, picked by Fsabe there. And so they're going to take that away and see what else Fsabe can do. We've seen him on Graves in the past. We've seen him on Jarvan. So he definitely is able to pick something else up there, but we'll see what League of Dawgs comes back with in this second ban phase.
Yeah, exactly. Right now they have like essentially Yuumi's a support, but everyone else is essentially a flex pick over there. So they leave themselves up to a lot of different things. They do for sure probably need a jungler. But other than that, they have like a lot of different options here. So it makes it really hard for even Oasis Esports to try to counterpick. The Riven's being banned out there now, just kind of take that out. Even though they made some mistakes, you don't assume they're going to make those mistakes again. Will Nappy, but Nappy was pretty nasty through most of that game. Like I said, probably did equally as many good things as bad things, but net positive in the end.
Absolutely, yeah, and that pressure he was able to exert with Riven, and as well as stay ahead of that Renekton in lane. So powerful there. Definitely the Varus now getting banned out. They could tell that that Double B really liked that Varus and was very comfortable on it.
Yeah, just really have to play very safe, and I think they don't want them to be able to play safe anymore. As you can see with the Tom Kench ban and the Varus ban, they're just like they're respecting how Oasis Esports won the last game, is just trying to take away how they won last game.
Yeah, so the Ashe now coming out. Ashe Thresh bot lane is always annoying to play against, and Double B going to be on that one. So we'll see. And like you said, Pyke, Cassiopeia, both flex picks, and so who knows exactly where things are going. We would normally say we've actually got this locked in because it's Pyke mid, Cassiopeia bot, Yuumi support, except that we've already seen Pyke top this series. And so in this case, you have no idea. Maokai being hovered definitely does indicate that they'd rather go for something like a Pyke mid. I've never seen Pyke Yuumi in the bot lane, but I suppose there's a possibility of that, though. It doesn't
really
seem to
hypey.
track the way I'm now that I'm doing some further reflection on that.
It could happen. And I'd honestly be kind of excited to see
it
them
would be
try
very
it.
cool.
And it looks like they're hovering right now.
A jungler,
not bot laners, but then again, Set could go in the bot lane too.
That's true. This is basically 4 flex picks here from League of
Go
Dogs.
ahead, pick whatever you want. We'll put our players.
No, we're not seeing is Yuumi mid or top. So since we have that locked in, actually, there's the Graves, so that it is a jungler, and so I think we may have solved the puzzle here. It's going to be Pyke mid, Maokai top, Graves jungle, Cassiopeia Yuumi in the bot lane. So
watch them bamboozle us, and they're like, Graves could be an AD carry, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And I mean, it's so funny. I meme on that because we did an in-house with me and the Lineage Esports boys recently, and did do that because it was funny and it slapped, but it's not good. It's not supposed to.
Speaking of slapping, we have Fiora locked in for Nappy, and so he is going to be very effective against that Maokai. Fiora is a full-on counter pick to a Maokai in terms of late game scaling, in terms of ability to affect the map, because that Fiora split push, the only one who has the potential to be able to answer it in the late game is Cassiopeia, and you need Cassiopeia in those team fights. So I really like the draft here by Oasis Esports. I think they've done a really nice job of answering what League of Dogs is throwing at them and of making a cohesive team fight here, with Olaf, Thresh, Rumble, Ashe being a very strong team fight presence in the mid to late game. So I really like what Oasis Esports has done here.
Whereas League of Dogs basically put together a comp that's more similar to their first game one, where it's kind of just like a lot of really hype things that could potentially happen. It is a very awkward composition, though. Like, I agree. You have this Maokai who's going to be this big front line for, I guess, the Cassiopeia, who's going to basically take on the role of what an AD carry normally would take on the role of, that consistent damage through the team fight. You're going to have some burst from the Pyke and the Graves, and a little bit of tankiness from the Graves. But it's just it's one of those, again, not as generically good compositions. Like if I turned off nameplates and team names, and I was just like, oh yeah, Oasis Esports slapped this draft because I don't know what the heck this other team is doing. But because of who is playing it, it's still very, very interesting to see what they can kind of do. So these are some crazy team compositions. We're going to keep talking through the competitive integrity pods, by the way, everybody, and until we get into the game. So I actually want to back up a little bit away from this draft and just kind of talk about a little bit of that last game again. So going into it, again, I was talking about these are the things Oasis Esports theoretically needs to do to get into that game. But I honestly, if I'm being completely frank, didn't believe they were going to be able to pull it off. But they did exactly that. They did they played the early game well enough that their solo lanes were able to get some solo kills and then carry from there. And then they were able to grab that bit of a lead. And sure, there were some fumbles here and there, but it showed that they were able to actually take a win condition and achieve it. And Oasis Esports just gained so much respect for me from that last game, because again, after that first game, it's so easy to tilt and be like, okay, whatever, we'll just play the next game and just move on with our day. But they've really come here to play today, and this is a hype game 3 we're coming up into.
I totally agree. I really appreciated already in the first game here. I really appreciated that the solo laners showed potential. You saw both solo laners of Oasis Esports have some strength in their laning phase, and they were both able to get somewhat of a lead, especially of course Nappy, but even Tatsuya was able to gain a CS lead there, was able to put pressure on the Echo in that first game, and they just weren't able to overcome the strength of that Draven in that game. But of course, in the second game, they were able to use that exact same thing, those solo lane advantages, to leverage themselves into a win. And I really like what I'm seeing from Oasis Esports. That second game, like you said, you can tell they know what to do with a late game lead. And that is so important for a competitive team at this level, where you're still breaking in, you're still figuring out exactly how you're going to, play the late game, how you're going to
Yeah.
play as a team, how you're going to transition your solo queue skills into a like the analyst desk mentioned, a totally different game.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that they were talking in the pregame show how about like solo queue and a competitive organized play like this are almost entirely different games, because you can see uh those team differences and where you can kind of hide your solo queue poorness. Like I said, like I come in here as a gold player, and they do have a gold player over there on Oasis Esports, and they totally fit in fine with the team because mechanically they're fine. Maybe they just don't play as often. Like that's the other part of this. No one's pros, so they're not just playing a crap ton, but maybe they understand the game at least enough that they can listen and trust each other. And you can tell this is a Oasis Esports team. After that game one, they still trusted each other and trusted the game plan, because it as much as you can go, well, yeah, Scarter just pressed R and then everyone targeted the thing Scarter did. There's still a bunch of vision that was required to make that even possible to happen. They talked about that just recently as well. They were talking about how, like, yeah, the ghost worked out because they had this great vision, and they trusted that if they put together their game plan properly, that they could actually win this one through. And yeah, you saw a team that if you were just looking at Elo, you were like, okay, League of Dawgs just wins this, but it's a different game. It doesn't matter. That's all out the window, especially after game 2 victory from Oasis. As we jump to basically winner takes all now, coming into this next one, all that Elo stuff doesn't even matter. All that pop off game in game 1 you saw doesn't even matter. The Riven shenanigans in game 2, technically none of that stuff even matters. You ban that stuff out, and they're playing 2 different team comps, and now you're seeing who is a better team.
That's right. Yeah, at 0-0, everything's taken away. You have the knowledge of those first 2 games, but it is all down to this one game. And I want to extend what you were saying and just say, even if Gabyzz is able to take over this game again and really just able to use his superior mechanical skill to just destroy Oasis Esports, I still am really encouraged by them, and I can't wait to see what's coming for them, because you can tell already they learned from that first game. They made tangible different decisions, and they made tangible improvements from that first game, and that is the kind of team that is going to go on to win championships, because you're able to not just play to win, you're playing to figure out how to get better. And I really love to see any team doing that. Oasis Esports just demonstrated exactly that, and so they are going to try to continue to learn going into this game 3. I just don't want to go back quickly to the composition of League of Dawgs, since, as we said, it is pretty janky and kind of crazy. But I do like, you always like the Yuumi into picks like Cassiopeia and Graves, who are sort of trying to be those like huge damage dealers who are almost on the front line there, like they're you're not exactly standing right in the back. Neither champion has that large of range. So what's really cool about this composition is that Yuumi can both help them stay alive and help them sustain through a team fight, but also can speed up the Pyke and use that stealth and that movement speed to go in and get some sort of engagement. Because what you're sort of worried about with the League of Dawgs composition on the surface is lack of engage. But with Yuumi Pyke move speed, that's just as good as something like a Malphite ultimate, or, like a Nautilus hook or something like that, because you're so fast, you are stealthed up until the last second. And so that is one way for League of Dawgs to make this composition work, even though it looks a little odd, is to use that, if that Yuumi, and definitely we're going to see what Thresh main can do on it, because as we said, he's very good on Thresh. He clearly has some mechanical skill, but Yuumi is a totally different play style. So it's a lot of this is, I think, going to rely on him to be able to figure out exactly kind of how to make this Yuumi work in this composition.
Yeah, exactly. And the other interesting thing is that this is a little bit skill testing, basically, for Oasis Esports. Just basically, if they see Graves and they see a low Graves, it is so tempting to all in and try to get that kill. But the thing is, Graves plus the Yuumi potentially there to save him is actually going to have so many resistances that you can get heavy baited by that.
Yep.
And so this is like, well, maybe not necessarily skill testing, but it's definitely like the knowledge testing of just kind of like how those resistances on this champion works. And it'll be very intriguing to see basically how big brain Oasis Esports is. Exactly. It's so easy when you're in the middle of a game to see like, that low Graves, and you just want to really reach for it. but they can really bait out some stuff depending on how skilled Fsabe is and how much they know their own champion and or know how well you're gonna do it with the Yuumi on you. So it's actually like this just knowledge testing thing that they're really League of Dogs says, hey, we're gonna throw this weird thing at you that you probably don't see very often, and in this moment, do you know how it works? And that'll be the most intriguing thing to see. As Fsabe has done some really hype things on with the Trundle, right? We saw a lot of really, really great plays without a dash. And now Fsabe has one and is basically has the potential to make some out plays here, because even though we haven't talked anything about who's been like the best player or anything so far, low-key Fsabe has kind of been an MVP in some ways throughout the series. So I'm so excited for this Game 3 now.
Definitely. Yeah, more excited than I ever thought I would be for this for this matchup, because we thought League of Dogs might have a super upper hand. And like you say, and like we see a lot in solo queue, especially the higher elo you go, have you done your stat checks? Have you figured out what your limits are into these different champions? If Oasis have done enough of that, they are going to be able to do exactly what you said and be able to react properly to these enemy champions, this Graves Yuumi combo, this Pyke Yuumi combo. They're going to be able to react properly to that. So,
like I said, generically speaking, I do like Oasis Esports' composition better, but it is just extremely intriguing to see if they know how to handle what's going on the other side.
Yep. The Fiora is the big kind of sticking point, especially late game. Even Gabyzz on Cassiopeia has gone with that cleanse, by the way. So just so that's heal, exhaust for a Thresh main, with the Yuumi and the Cassiopeia running flash and cleanse. So we're going to see how that affects them. Definitely expected that cleanse going into an Ashe Thresh lane.
Yeah.
But with the cleanse, with the lack of teleport, it's even harder for someone like a Cassiopeia, who is going to be the only one who can face down Nappy in the late game, unless if Nappy gets really far behind. You're going to run into some issues with map control if Gabyzz can't be in the spots he needs to be to stop that split push.
Yeah, this game feels like a game that's going to basically be decided at the 20-minute mark. It's either going to be League of Dogs is slapping at the 20-minute mark, or I feel like at the 20-minute mark, Oasis Esports will just take over the game if they're not so far behind or anything like that. So it's like interesting. This early game is so key and so interesting to see what kind of happens here. Bladest trying to see if they get her earlier hook onto Tatsuya right now, but Tatsuya using the minion basically to avoid that. So again, we're going to have to pay a little bit of attention towards the bot lane, see if Double B and Kingsland end up over pushing at some point. But right now, Thresh main is going to be sitting there on Gabyzz. And see how well they play the Yuumi too, even. You know, Yuumi technically, visually isn't the most exciting champion to watch. There is some mechanics that go on with that champion in terms of jumping off, getting auto attack, jumping back on, get the shield, like that kind of stuff. So I'm intrigued to see. So obviously, Thresh main's a Thresh main. Intrigued to see how they play as this Enchanter. It's very, very different play style. And as of right now, just chilling on Gabyzz. So I'm excited to see how they play through these team fights, because Yuumi can be so frustrating in the right hands.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and as much of a mechanical test, it's almost more of a sort of decision-making test. Like, when do I go in? Who do I attach to right now? And yeah, definitely anyone who tells you that Yuumi doesn't take skill hasn't played against a really good Yuumi.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, you can low level just sit there and be a bot, right? Yeah, like, you could literally do that, and it like levels all the way to gold probably. That works fine.
Absolutely.
But, like, a good Yuumi actually does a lot of work. So we'll see what happens here. We do have a gank going over towards his bot lane right now. Gabyzz is going to go down initially low here, but Fsabe has made their way over here, and the flash will come through, and first blood will go onto Gabyzz. Exhaust now hits onto Double B. They're going to try to get away here. Fsabe is going to get one more auto attack, but we'll be able to get out of there. And a nice early gank here right at the 3-minute mark for Fsabe, as Double B and Kingsland were just pushed out too far. Yeah,
power of the Yuumi already showing there. So tanky, making those two members with that early heal. And so hard to exactly judge exactly how much is going to heal and how much damage you're able to do. And you do see all 4 summoner spells blown from the bot lane of Oasis, and none except the exhaust blown from the bot lane of League of Dogs. So we are going to see a little exchange here. Maokai does fine in the early game against Fiora. It's the late game you have to worry about. But yeah, beautiful gank there. Fsabe did start at the blue buff at his top side, and so was able to get that early gank, which they knew that Ashe and Thresh would be wanting to push in on the Cassiopeia and Yuumi, as that is exactly how that lane always goes. So knowing that, that's why Fsabe started the blue buff, so that he could get that early gank down onto that bot.
Yeah, just smart. Just definitely just smart pathing and all that jazz. The one other thing I kind of want to note, and like, don't take this as the for sure advice, everybody. This is just what I kind of do. Second, I say Yuumi on the other team, the first item I'm building is Executioners. But you do see the second Doors Blade being pushed out for double B. That is technically more gold efficient in terms of just like stats. But honestly, like a first item Executioners is pretty gold efficient and does a decent amount of damage early on, and doesn't really set you too far back from building Blade of the Ruin King in that situation. And I just think, I don't know, I actually think people sleep on the first item for that against something like Yuumi.
Yeah, totally fine against the Cassiopeia as well, with some healing inherent in her kit. So that is going to be an interesting discussion of how soon do they build it, because there's no doubt you're building it on this squad. Against a Yuumi, you build it no matter what.
You know what I mean?
Here's the hook.
Ooh, the hook
Lens
is
coming
coming
down.
there, but
Fsabe's
that was
back.
a bait. Yeah, Fsabe is right here. They're just going to be able to handle it. Double B is going to go down. We talked earlier, will they understand the power of the Yuumi and how tanky it makes you? It does not look like so far. Kingsland will go down to Gabyzz. Roman has made their way over here, but they're just going to try to flash out after that, but will eventually just go down. Fsabe picks up the second kill of the game. That's 2 kills for each of Gabyzz and Fsabe, and they're rolling around nicely now.
So this is a bait. It's a bait in the individual play, but it's also just a bait in champ select use. Oasis thought they had the dream comp here with Ashe Thresh against Cassiopeia Yuumi. Come on, you're going to destroy them early game. Except if Graves continues to show up, Graves, as I said before, so strong with the Yuumi, then you're going to lose all these early game engagements. And when you saw the roam down from Olaf and Rumble, it's already too late. 6 minutes in, you've already showed up too late. And already now 2 kills going down onto Gabyzz. You got to be completely terrified.
And it's like the other reason that Graves is such a good pick here for the jungle. It does a really good job of kind of coming into a gank situation if the lane has their own CC. He's obviously Graves doesn't really provide specifically like a slow or anything like that, but just provides so much damage early on. So that you just come down the lane, you hit a Q from the Yuumi, or you get them in the miasma, you get and it's fine, right? Then you have the CC from that, and you just get kind of baited in here. This is almost like them not respecting the Thresh in the first game. This one's a little more forgivable because, again, it's one of those things like, how often do you play against this? Do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But this is still, it's a little bit of, I won't go as far as say as inting, but I'll go as far as saying it's just being over-aggressive.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, not respecting what the Yuumi has to offer here. And yeah, like you say, even if you don't have crowd control, generally that's exactly what you want, is crowd control to match with the Graves damage. But in this case, you hardly need the crowd control if you're allowing the enemy lane to push up so hard.
Oh, yeah.
And you see it still a bit of a farm differential between the Ashe and the Cassiopeia. The Ashe coming ahead there, but it doesn't matter. It's 2 kills already onto the Cassiopeia and 2 assists. And so now those summoner spells finally coming back up on the bot lane of Oasis. And so there's a little roam here, or a little engagement by Fsabe, able to take down a control ward, and has taken that scuttle crab. No, was seen by that scuttle crab, I should say, as well. So he'll have to back off.
Here we go. Here we go, Bladest and Tatsuya over in the mid lane. Bladest is doing a pretty decent job on this. They're behind in CS, of course, but you kind of give that up when you're Pyke, to be honest, in almost any lane you play in. That you're not really expecting, but you're trying to get those kind of picks and kind of surviving. He's actually doing a fairly solid job right now of just kind of hanging in there, and not giving up that solo kill like they did in the first game there to Tatsuya. So
yeah, I'm interested in the build up
too as well.
I think he must have started longsword or something along those lines, since he's already got the Tiamat and boots there. Unless he started with boots, I didn't pay enough attention to that early game as we were talking about. There's a lot of damage.
Laird trying to use the ultimate to just try to get away. Will succeed in doing so, but we'll have to spend the flash to make that one happen. Tatsuya, meanwhile, is just pushing in this mid lane onto Bladest. So that's the other thing. So yeah, things are working out pretty well for League of Dawgs, but this rumble could potentially end up being really scary. You still basically have the same basic game plan right now. You're like, hey, we lost some kills to the jungler and some kills to the bot lane, but you still have these solo laners that can still carry through, and they're winning their CS battle right now in their solo lane.
Yeah, the power of Nappy already 20 CS ahead, has taken 2 plates already, and definitely able to bully this Maokai out of lane with that Tiamat now completed, able to push so hard and able to control the waves. It's been so key in this top lane. It's been the reason Nappy's gotten the lead every single time, is his ability to control those waves and to deny farm from the Maokai. And since the jungle pressure did have to go bottom side, Nappy was free to do so. With relative ease. The Maokai just nowhere near as able to manage the waves.
And to be fair, as Maokai, you just do that.
You have to sacrifice that. Exactly.
You go through laning phase down 20 or so CS. If you didn't die a bunch, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna be a tank later. What does it matter?
Exactly. Yeah, against the Fiora, you're gonna run into issues, but that's this is what you pick Maokai for. So a second plate now taken, as you saw the zone control applied by the Graves there onto the bot lane once again of Oasis, denied them a whole bunch of farm. Now Cassiopeia firmly in the lead, CS 20 ahead up there, almost 25, and they are going to get that other wave to crash in and get that lane reset. This is a huge advantage here for the bot lane of League of Dawgs.
And that's clearly what they want. Like, obviously from the 3-minute gank, from all the resources that they're basically saying, hey, we're going to try to get our best player to carry. So they weren't really trying that in game 2, right? They were kind of trying to play a more scaling a team comp and let Gabyzz trying to get there on their own. This time they're like, no, we'll put some resources on the Gabyzz and kind of get this going. They do get some third plates down with the Rift Herald. There does Oasis Esports. The tower is still standing for now.
Yeah, by the way, we did see this on screen, and we were discussing some other matchups, but they did take down that first dragon with the Yuumi and Graves, so easily able to solo down that dragon, especially with the priority in the bot lane created. And so the Infernal Drake the next to spawn, and we'll see what kind of objective control League of Dawgs wants to apply to that. Olaf still, in theory, can challenge this Graves if they meet in a straight up 1v1 fight, and we'll see if Fsabe is going to check this. The hook comes out.
Yeah, just trying to see the kind of pick there with that hook there. Fsabe right now is going to find them. They're going to blow them up. So much damage. Oh, baby. And there comes the ultimate from the Yuumi as well. Meanwhile, we do tune into the top lane as Laird is being taken down here right now by Nappy. Oh, Laird, what a play there to make that one happen. Jebaited, son. You're taken down. But meanwhile, Oasis Esports will take this.
No, that's League of Dawgs taking down the dragon.
Oh, sorry, League of Dawgs taking down this dragon as well. So, no, that was all net positive for League of Dawgs. That was all for them.
Yeah, big advantages here gained by League of Dawgs. Nice play by Laird, though, and Nappy just went a little bit too far there. Very close with the flash to coming back and getting that solo kill, but the ultimate had worn off, not able to get the heal with that last auto attack onto the vulnerable area there. So that's Thresh main and Gabyzz now pushing down again on this turret. They are zoned off once again of really defending it in the last plate before the penultimate plate going down here, as finally they're going to be allowed back into lane.
Nice hook here hit by Bladest on Tatsuya. Does have low advantage, so we'll get back over here from that. Okay, so Nappy reminds me of myself playing Valorant.
Okay,
every game,
I want to hear this.
Every game, I'm either 20-10 or 10-20. Because I'm just going for those hype plays. I'm just diving, they're just diving down towers, trying to make these crazy stuff. That clearly has the mechanics to do it, but just every once in a while does it when they shouldn't try to do it.
Yeah. So oh man, feast or famine up there, eh?
Yeah. So what I'm learning about Nappy is that I am so excited to watch Nappy play more games of League of Legends.
Absolutely.
Because there's definitely gonna be series when Nappy is just solo carrying and just slapping everyone on the Fiora, on the Riven, on whatever, and it's gonna be potentially one of the most fun champion players to watch because they always go for the play, no matter what.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Nappy
we
cleans
definitely
up a
have
bit.
the clappy or crappy up
Yeah.
here in the top lane, and we have to see which one we get. As you say, it looks like a bit of a coin flip so far, though. Even with that dive and with that botched play there, we still do see quite a good farm differential here up for the Fiora. The Fiora is still scaling up, and the Fiora is still going to be strong.
Oh,
Here's the hook actually coming down.
oh, but the cleanse.
Cleanse and the ultimate comes down. Here's a teleport. Are they going to be able to get away in
They're
time?
coming right for it. Ultimate coming through for Roman, trying to get on top of them. So Ragnarok, Nappy's going to jump over there, going to be able to take them down. Does Thresh go down as well? Will do. Nappy will take that kill and be able to back out of here. Great play put together by Oasis Esports, and we have a game, folks. A game that was looking like it was going to be a landslide for League of Dawgs. That's the first positive play for Oasis Esports, and they're coming right back into it.
Yeah, exactly. And Maokai able now to push up in the top lane there in response to that, because the teleport, of course, did come down from Nappy. But yes, still definitely a really good play. Get the shutdown gold down there onto Gabyzz. Get both summoners from both champions. You got to do a repeat gank now. It's time to press this advantage. You have a summoner spell discrepancy here in the bot lane. You've got to use it. Because, yeah, that gank was good. Here's Tatsuya coming up to cover this top lane turret. But you got to use that.
What's kind of cool is what I'm seeing here is like pretty much like credit to our analysts. I'm gonna give you guys like a little bit of like, I'm just gonna clap for you, because basically like we were talking about how like solo queue and like just organized play are different games, and kind of what you're seeing a lot of what happening here is we see a fight a little bit here in the mid lane. Does Nappy go for it? No. Is that basically you see the solo queue plays that literally these individual players make on League of Dawgs, and that's what kind of led to that original 4-0 lead in terms of kills. But you're seeing the teamwork of Oasis Esports come through to make that play that they made on towards the bot side. It's like it is so interesting. It makes this league so interesting and so diverse that we have these quote-unquote low elo players coming together, working as such a good team that doesn't necessarily matter.
Yep, exactly. I love what I'm seeing, and that's exactly what we have talked about before. And like you said, the analysts mentioned it and nailed it right on the head. That's what's so exciting about this league. Laird does a nice job avoiding damage. Here's
just running out of run straight.
You got to flash earlier, Fsabe.
Okay, I said it before the game. Fsabe was low key my MVP of the series, and if they go on to win this game.
Yeah, and of course I said you got to flash earlier for Fsabe. I, of course, meant Roman. Should have flashed earlier in that situation. Now the push comes down onto the turret. And, of course, the first turret still, even with the Fiora advantage, did go to that Maokai. Now, because of the teleport gank that went down onto the bot lane, still worth it, of course. But, oh, here's a nice... I like how... in that situation, you know the Pyke has that dash up. You know there's no way you should go in, and we're still like, is Nappy gonna do it?
Yeah, no, yeah, because they might. I don't know.
Is Nappy gonna go for it? And, that is gonna be on a knife's edge all game, which I just love. So 3-0-3 here coming in for Fsabe has managed to finish these kills.
Nice hook, I think.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it is a Maokai, so I don't expect too much to come out of that one, but good hook.
Yeah, it did look like he got a quick grasp stack off onto that to heal himself up a bit before running away. Slow comes down once again. That actually, he didn't expect that to hit. And is this going to be a kill now? Ignite comes up.
Oh,
here's
okay,
the hook.
well, yeah, this
Stun
time
comes down.
Take him down. Just trying to jump on. Does have friends here, never mind. Meanwhile, Fsabe stealing the Cloud Drake while all of that was happening, picking up another kill. Laird gonna finally die? Double B does finally take him out. Does go down himself though as well. The Fiora gonna be able to pick up that kill over there, and Nappy's not gonna pick up this one onto Bladest, so that'll be a double kill going on to Nappy. Double kill also comes through for Gabyzz as it's a 3-for-3 on two different parts of the map.
Yeah, and turret for turret as well. The only advantage gained really was the dragon from League of Dawgs, which, as you said, Fsabe was able to deftly steal away. Really like that play there from him being able to find that. But, of course, Nappy did arrive and show up.
MVP. He's getting it done, and I love seeing plays like that.
Yeah, we do love that. And if you check out our VODs of the Amateur League yesterday, everybody, you'll be able to see some crazy objective steals in that game as well. So if you like that, check it out. But here's Nappy. The teleport did come in here. The Nimbus Cloak did allow Laird to charge him pretty fast, but Nappy, of course, not deterred by that at all.
Nappy seeing Gabyzz and Thresh main over in that other bush going, okay, no, I won't go for this 1v1 right now.
Yeah, exactly, Oh man, I
Nappy
love that.
does have a brain.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm not.
He's
I'm
not
that,
just a
I'm not
machine.
that BM. I'm not that BM.
Anyway.
My flame for you, Nappy, is because I just like I'm loving what I see out of you mechanically, and it's just like, there's this nice edge where like, man, Nappy could be one of the best players in this entire league.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, sort of that like Huni, like when
I was
when
about to
right, like you're just like you could be the best player in this league.
Yep.
You just gotta like occasionally calm it down.
You just gotta not int. Yeah.
But right now you have Nappy carrying a little bit.
Yep.
Because right now they're
Clappy
behind.
has arrived in the server.
Yeah, Clappy right now is here. We'll see what comes up next.
Yeah, exactly.
turret
So
goes down
he
for
is
them right
actually going to get 4-man ganked here, as Fsabe is pretty far ahead of Nappy there, and the double buffs. Will he be able to? Now this is definitely Nappy going to be going down. Ooh, yeah.
I'm trying. Hard to tell. Kind of the resolution of the stream we're watching at if like the teleport was available at the time for Nappy to have tried to make the TP escape.
Yeah, I believe it was available, but not. They knew exactly where they would go into the bush.
Actually,
so I'm not sure it would have been worth it.
It was like a few seconds on.
Was it not?
Yeah. I actually have both streams open on my computer.
Oh, there you go. So now you can check back. That's a good idea. Okay.
Anyway, so they're pushing the bot lane over here
now.
is League of Dawgs with Rip Herald exactly. So do they get the turret? Not quite. They don't quite get the turret, but tons of damage there. So that'll be set up nicely for them later. And again, the one thing that League of Dawgs did really well when they did push through these towers was get a lot of really good vision here. And Ashe ultimate does come flying through, will not hit anybody. Nappy meanwhile does find Bladest over here in the tribe bush. Got to be able to jump out over there. Got to use the blast cone to try to continue the chase. Ooh, just doesn't go in quite the right direction, but will continue flying down there. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is chasing over into the enemy jungle as well. Nappy still trying to find Bladest over here. Tatsuya has come to join to help this one out. Tatsuya will pick up their first kill of this game.
Tatsuya doing a nice job already. The highest farm in the game, as well as now being 1-0-0. Here comes the Kingsland onto Fsabe.
Yep, Fsabe gonna dash out of there. The block's not gonna be enough to stop him.
So Roman not able to help out there, not doing enough damage. Gabyzz, you can see a lot of damage, committing very heavily to this.
Oh, Gabyzz, just so much damage. Oh, it's gross. Oh.
Yeah, and they were aware that members of League of Dawgs were too close for them to really try to go onto Gabyzz, and you can see a little bit of a mental, like there was a potential for them to engage.
Oh, what a dodge of that hook. Gabyzz now here with the ultimate from the Yuumi. He's going to be able to take that one down. They're going to continue this pursuit onto the next target here. Tatsuya's going to try to use the ultimate to try to get them down, but here comes Bladest as well. Going to be able to hook up onto Double B. Double B will go down. Double kill comes through for Gabyzz, and that's just that is the pure skill of Gabyzz showing through, along with Thresh main pressing R.
Yep,
which is all that really needs to happen.
Fully outplayed there on Gabby's part. You saw the side steps, you saw the moves, you saw, just some really, really nice mechanical play there, bringing Gabyzz now to 8-1-3 with a 600 gold bounty on his head. And that's the Seraph's Embrace completed. That's Leandri's Torment completed. Gabyzz is a scary snake right now.
Yep, birds. Yeah, you gotta like Gabyzz. I was talking about how like fun Nappy is to watch. It's real fun watching because I can't recall a mistake Gabyzz has made today.
Yeah,
it's been 3 games. I'm sure one has happened at some point, but Gabyzz is like the same mechanical skill as Nappy without any of the mistakes, and just like it's just popping off like crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm being really mean to Nappy, and I'm so sorry if you watch this VOD later and now you're like, Johnny just keeps flaming me. It's not my intent. I apologize.
I think that we've definitely given Nappy enough credit as on top of that. The dragon does go down. Oh, huge damage onto Roman.
Yeah, able to secure that one there. Gabyzz does pick up a kill. Let's pick him up. So let's see if the rest of them is going to be able to get them on the follow-up. Tatsuya is going to go down to Bladest. He's going to be able to take them out here. Fsabe is going to slow down Kingsland, but Kingsland will walk out of that. So they will get the dragon, but not where they paid the iron price a little bit there.
Definitely worth it for them in any case to deny that Cloud Drake, though. Even though Stefano poo-pooed the Cloud Drake, or the Cloud Soul, I should say, a little bit. And I agree, it is, in many cases, the weakest of the souls. Still very powerful.
It's real good on Cassiopeia.
Yeah, it's very good on Cassiopeia.
And you have that movement speed buff with Cassiopeia. It is nutty. Actually, like every champion of theirs.
I was about to say Maokai makes huge use of this, that buff as well.
Cloud Soul is probably roughly the best soul for their team composition. Moving on, Gabyzz is going to use that ultimate. Imagine if they had the soul for that, but it doesn't really matter that much. Thresh will pick up the kill. They will get the rest of this inhibitor. And they got that. They got that inhibitor. Oh, they are continuing this push. Nappy is down. That is the person with the most gold on their team. So it does make sense for this. Tatsuya goes down. Bladest finally picks up that kill for that one here. Laird's going to go into stasis and basically use that as extra tankiness. They are able to absorb more cooldowns. They're still pushing onto this tower here. I mean, Nappy's not up for another 15 seconds. They potentially have this. They're pretty low, though. Double B will pick up a kill, but this Nexus is pretty low as well. Bladest will get on top of that one, and that will be the game. League of Dawgs sees the opportunity, and they take it to finish.